Louis Riddick, you know that not only do I enjoy you enormously, we do the draft together, but you also know that I'm a little afraid of you. So I'm going to say something and then I'm going to duck after saying it, but I have been making the point here that in order to rebuild this team, which the Cowboys desperately need to do, they need to trade Micah Parsons. Mm-hmm. I've, in fact, taken to calling him Herschel Parsons because the Herschel Walker trade built a team in Dallas once upon a time that won 3 Super Bowl championships. Yeah. And they might be able to do the one thing that could dig them out of this. This is not to denigrate Micah Parsons, who is a great player. Yeah. It is actually to elevate him and point out you could get the king's ransom you normally get for a quarterback by trading Micah Parsons. I said that. And now I'm just going to duck and hear your response.
At one time, you probably should have ducked, but not anymore. Not anymore. And simply because, look, I think there's no question that Dallas needs draft capital. They need a plethora of players to come in here and really help build this football team back up. Now, the question for me is this. Look, trading away big-time players, especially at premium positions like this, is always something that people get very fascinated by. And I don't have any issue with it, especially in this kind of situation. But then it's about who is in charge of picking the next batch of players, and then who is in charge of developing and implementing those players within a bigger scheme. Because quite honestly, that's where teams wind up getting the competitive edge. It's who are the people that are in charge of developing and implementing the strategy to utilize these players. That's the issue with Dallas. I understand exactly what you're getting at. And if you look at this football team last night, there's no way you could say in your right mind that this team doesn't need a total overhaul in terms of the upgrading the level of its talent, in particular on the defensive side. So I'm with you. I'm with you there. And I wouldn't have been at one time.
No,
because look, you don't trade away quarterbacks, pass rushers, franchise left tackles, corners, or number one wide.
If you were to trade Micah Parsons and let's say you got 2 first-round picks, which I think is reasonable, you're hoping that one of those first-round picks is half of Micah Parsons. Right. And likely that's not what's going to happen. So I think that with some offseason acquisitions, you have a quarterback, you have a number 1 receiver, and you have Micah Parsons. With improvements at coaching and some improvements in some other areas on the roster, you don't have to hit home runs. You can build this team back up pretty quickly, in large part because Micah Parsons is so good that the impact that he has on an offense allows the rest of your defense to have pressure taken off of him.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Neek right here. If you think about the Cowboys, the positions they're in need of are right in the middle. Yeah. Go get a monster defensive tackle, which is not going to cost you for run stopping. Go get a run stopper. Go get some linebackers, internal linebackers that can go stop the run, right? You have a young offensive line. Go get a running back that you can depend on. There was 3 available this year. It does not require you to give away the most effective pass rusher in maybe not in your history because of Charles Haley, but close in the history of your organization. You let that dude walk and he walks to the NFC, it's going to be Saquon Barkley times 10. He will eat you up, bro. You think you're going to go get some dudes in the middle.
It's not like they're short on picks, right? I mean, like they have their picks. It's not like they're the 49ers and they've traded away 1 million picks, right? So all you have to do, you build around guys like this. If you look at the Buffalo Bills and what they have built and their inability to get over the top in the playoffs, and they would tell you the main reason is they haven't had that finisher at that edge rush position that can get Patrick Mahomes on the ground in the 4th quarter. Yep. And they try to sign Von Miller to a ridiculous contract, and that hasn't worked. But you build around guys like this, and if you hit your 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round draft picks like the Cowboys were doing for a decade, then it shouldn't be hard to rebuild around it.
See, the difference, though, with a team like Buffalo, look, the foundational pieces are already in place.
Agree. It's an imperfect comparison.
And the organizational structure in terms of like the philosophical alignment between Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane. I mean, these are all things that Dallas also does not have.
Right.
Okay, so quite honestly, as good as Micah is, as great as Micah is, it ain't going to matter if all the things that kind of happen above his pay grade don't get straightened out. I don't give a damn how good he is. Right. It ain't going to matter.
So you're saying they should trade him because they don't have the structure in place to get to that point where he'd make that difference anyway?
Well, I'm just saying this. Look, I wouldn't want to trade a franchise pass rusher. Okay, I wouldn't want to. But I think it's irrelevant if they don't fix the other stuff.
When you're trailing by at least 20 points in 6 consecutive home games, one pass rusher isn't going to make that much of a difference.
That's where you're lying.
As evidenced by the fact that he can't. Can we put up the full screen?
Anything into a future where that's not the
But you know what, though?
Dude, let me tell you something.
But you know what?
Jeff,
listen.
can I just point this out again?
You keep doing this.
This is Stop throwing up A14s. We don't want any more A14s. That number is fictitious.
How many players can you be paying at this level?
You might as well say 11.5 bajillion. Like that is not going to be Dak Prescott's cap number next year.
Yes.
Kansas City got to a point where they said, we can't keep Tyreek Hill anymore, and they let him go. But the other teams, when they're paying the quarterback the huge amount of money, they let some other players go, and they make tough decisions. So you pay him.
Cherry picking. They kept Travis Kelce. They kept Chris Jones. They didn't.
Can I just break some breaking news here?
Yeah.
They tried to keep Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, right.
They made him a contract offer, and it was for a lot of money.
Right.
He just wanted. He wanted to go.
He wanted
more money, and he wanted to go. So I'm not saying they didn't just kind of go like Tyreek, just go ahead and walk.
We're gonna let you go.
I hear you.
But I get you. But see, I'm on your side in some ways.
Thank God.
So just kind of stay close to me.
Okay, I'm over here.
So in some ways, I'm still on your side. And again, I would be hard pressed to get off of a guy who was a future potential Hall of Fame pass rusher. But you know what? It's not like you can just go out and just say, hey, you know what, just give me a big dude so I can kind of fortify the middle of my defense and I can just pick any John off the street. It ain't going to work like that either, Jeff. You know that.
Right, but those are much easier to find.
Absolutely.
You know
those
what?
are much easier to find.
Whoa.
And they don't cost as much. You're talking about
They're
a salary cap puzzle. You don't have to spend that much to get like an interior lineman or a linebacker. Like that's just a fact of NFL math.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me just take this a step further then. I think Dallas needs as many cracks at it as they can possibly get in terms of player selection because it's not like they're killing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now that I agree with, but that's what I'm saying. That's why more picks don't help you. That's what
No. I'm saying it does help you.
More picks will help.
It does help you
because your hit rate is at 20%. But
which again takes us to the crux of this whole argument.
Nah, you can't let
Maybe
go
Jerry
of,
and the rest of their personnel department shouldn't be the ones who are picking the players.
He is the piece that you build around on that defense.
Good luck changing that.
Yeah.
Well, then that's why we're going to have this conversation forever.
Can we play this, Stephen A? I just want to say that. Oh, we don't have it. We'll get it for you. Stephen A. was dancing in celebration last night.
Oh, my word.
And I haven't seen it. I've only been told about it. I need to see it. So we're going to find Stephen A. dancing for you as we continue. In the meantime, tonight, we got 10 NHL games coming your way on the ESPN Plus schedule, including our featured matchup between the defending champion Panthers and Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks. The puck drops at 8:30 Eastern. Okay, everyone, gather around. We have found it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Stephen A.'s reaction to another Cowboys disaster. Neek, what do you think? What do you think?
I mean, it's better than I anticipated, honestly.
Stephen A's got moves.
Has he got elbow tendonitis? How many braces do he need?
Wearing.
I'm not sure.
Is he working out?
What is that?
What do you have gloves on?
What's going on
He's
here?
got fingerless gloves and some kind of strap on his elbow. Has he got tendonitis? Is it tennis elbow? Is he working out?
You know what, Greeny? I think you got to do a whole block.
The whole thing. Are those driving gloves? I know they ain't lifting gloves.
Stephen A is having fun. You'll see
He swear he's buff, don't he?
at 10 o'clock coming up Eastern time. All right.